Hi, I'm Chris Steyerwalt, and it's time for another installment of Power Play Off to the Races, where we look at key contests from around the country that could shape what happens in Washington in the next term, and certainly could have an effect on other elections. And there is no better House race to look at when it comes to that than Virginia's 10th district. That's why I want you to meet Barbara Comstock. She is currently a delegate who represents a pretty considerable portion of that House district that's in Northern Virginia, as she is a Republican, and she is hoping to go to the pros. How are we doing?
Very good. Great to be with you today.
Okay, now you're not like most people who are making their first run for Congress in the sense that you've already worked for Congress.
I work for Congressman Wolf, the person who I am seeking to replace now that he's retiring after 34 years. He's quite a legend here in our area.
He is, and but his retirement, his announced retirement, drew a lot of attention. It's drawing a lot of money. Your race is going to be certainly a top 10, maybe top 5 most expensive in the country. Democrats are flooding resources in. John Faust, who has been the Virginia equivalent of a county commissioner, essentially, since 2003, is well funded. He's well known. He has big name ID. We hope he'll come and talk to us here. But how
2007, actually, he was first elected. He lost in
2003. Not that she was keeping track. But how do you, as somebody who you've been 5 years in the House in Virginia, how do you translate what you've done in Richmond and how you work there to a district that is very federally focused? Because as Congressman Wolf has demonstrated, an advocate for big defense spending, he's an advocate for the federal workers who work in his district. Sometimes that puts him at odds with House leadership.
Well, sure. Well, I have worked on every race that Congressman Wolf has had since 1984, lived in the area a long time, was a senior aide for him in the 90s where I worked on all these issues. I worked on federal employees issues. I worked on things like telework, that then when I was in the state legislature, I was able to pass Virginia's first telework laws. And then I worked on defense issues with him, jobs issues, worked with all of our business community. So it was very natural when I then went to the State House to be able to work very much in the, in the mode of Frank Wolf, because he was my role model. I've kept in touch with him all these years. When I was a senior Justice Department official, I headed up the Public Affairs Office there after 9/11. Congressman Wolf was our chairman of Commerce, Justice, and State Appropriations. So at that time, I continued to be able to work with him on issues like human trafficking, which obviously are very important. We're still focusing on the federal level. But I was able, when I went to the State House, to work on those issues. And Virginia really didn't have the kind of tough laws to crack down on human trafficking that we needed to. So I put together a coalition, actually worked with Congressman Wolf, and we passed some of the most significant human trafficking legislation in Northern Virginia.
This is a district that was formerly red Republican. And then has become a swing district. President Obama narrowly won it in 2008, right?
Yes, he narrowly won it in 2008, but Mitt Romney did win it in 2012. Last year, both Mark Obenshain and Ken Cuccinelli won the district, and Frank Wolf's always won it handily.
Yeah, but Democrats think that you see a strong effort to nationalize it, to tie you, say you're just another Republican and not in keeping with the district. What do you do to keep this race local? It seems like your effort has been very much to focus on this district and the specific concerns of voters there. How do you do that?
Sure. Well, I've done that in all 3 of my races. And as you mentioned, my district is within the 10th district in large part. My opponent, a little less than half of his district is in the 10th district. So he's kind of more focused maybe on the 8th and the 11th district of Virginia than the 10th. And I've worked throughout this district. I represent both Fairfax and Loudoun right now. So I've worked heavily with the Loudoun business community. I've worked with the technology community. I've been endorsed by all kinds of Northern Virginia technology leaders. Many of the people that were chairman of the Northern Virginia Technology Council have endorsed me over the years, and they've been strong supporters of me. I'm going to be I have a large business coalition that is working with us. I've also worked with the defense community. I mean, in Virginia, when we started seeing this administration insourcing defense jobs, and when they started on the sequestration, I worked with our state officials and with our federal officials to see what we could do to not, have that kind of burden fall on our defense workers, because it's very important, first and foremost, for our national security, secondly, for defense, and that's why I'm so honored today to have former Senator John Warner, who obviously was somebody who really worked hard on our defense issues, to come out and support me. So I look forward to working with people like him, working with Rob Whitman, who's the chairman of our Readiness Committee, and others.
No small thing. And I will tell you one thing, Internet, about Barbara Comstock. You will not outwork her. She may win, she may lose, but she will never be outworked.
We will win. I've always won my elections by working with a strong coalition of people and bringing people together.
What did I tell you? Barbara Comstock, we thank you for making time for us today. We appreciate your interest and your time.
Great to be with you.
And we always appreciate your interest, Tom. You're so great, and we appreciate you stopping by, and we hope you'll check back real soon for another installment of Power Play, Off to the Races.